Okay, let's start. Uh, what I really want to see from your assignment is that your analysis of all the verbs and nouns must be really accurate. And I want to really encourage you to move on continually, although you find Hebrew 3 a bit hard and challenging. And it's really understandable that this lesson is not really that easy. So if you feel like, oh, Pastor June, I'm sorry that I'm feeling like I don't really understand everything. It is okay. Just don't give up and continue to work on it. And all of a sudden you will begin to understand the portion that you could not understand before. Okay. And as I told you before, when I was taking this Hebrew 3, there was a great feeling of what is it, disappointment, even about myself, because I couldn't clearly understand everything, even syntax and textual criticism. But you need to understand, I'm really doing my best. And I told you before, when I was grading your syntactical, part, and then even textual criticism, I tried to be really generous to give you good grade, which means I understand that, since you are dealing with those things as first assignment, there should be some kind of uncertainty, the things that you couldn't fully understand. So if you are really concerned about the grade, don't worry about it, and you've been with me for the last 2 trimesters, so you know how generous I am. I'm not really trying to tell you that it's your luck to meet me, but what I'm really trying to say, don't get me wrong, I'm trying to say that you need to really see the value of studying Hebrew language. That's it. And I'm really trying to let you know the important parts in order for you to be the Hebrew scholar. So instead of giving you the Hebrew knowledge, I chose to teach you, train you, and equip you to be a researcher, Hebrew researcher. That's why I'm trying to give you the exposure to textual criticism, syntax, and all those things. And you can see that this analysis of verbs and nouns are very basic, okay? And sometimes you will see that, you might have some vocabularies that are not really following the rules that we have studied in Hebrew 1 and 2. Then just rely on the analysis of Bible works. That's it, okay? So even if you cannot do it by yourself, it's okay. Anyway, today we are going to deal with some verbs, but I will just introduce one more skill today. Okay, let's do this. Anyway, let's read it first. David al titkar ma. Actually, this is shua, but whenever you have shua, you need to look at the preceding vowel point, and if you have a long vowel point, then it should be vocal. But in this case, pata is not a long vowel, but short vowel. But if you just pay attention to this pata, then it should be silent. But we have dagesh. So under the dagesh, it should be vocal. Do you understand? So in this case, I'm going to double the sound of a man. So bam meleim. Okay. Al tekane be ose avella. So in some, it's quite common to see this beginning. So this is what? For David or to David. Normally, most of English translation put the meaning of this word as of David or some of David or for David. So in case that the authorship is David. And sometimes people argue, is it really written by David? But whether or not this one was really written by David, there must be some special reasons why it is started from this specific phrase. So if it was not written by David, but the real author should be the influence of David when he was writing this. So it is really not too much to consider Psalm 37 as the compose of David. But anyway, so David's idea should be the main concept. Okay, anyway. So let's move on. Titkar. So actually this one is a verb, and you know that this it tit indicates what? It's the indicator of hit pile. We have studied this one before. So hit pile, and this one is kha la. So root letters are kat, resh, and he. But this one is a third he verb. So kara, khara, and stem is hit pile. And what about form? Actually, you need to ask the question, why is it we don't have he at the end? You know that there is a tendency that he disappears quite often, but we don't have any specific reason for the he to be dropped off. Why? Because when the hair is dropped off, it is the case that it is sandwiched by or followed by something. So the hair sound is not quite strong. But unfortunately, we have nothing after hair. So what is the reason? Why? Why we don't have the hair? Have you ever wondered? This is because this one is a Jurassic form. Now, when we are talking about Jurassic form, Jurassic was normally used with the third person. Do you remember? The first person causative, second person imperative, and third person was for Jurassic. But now this one must be either 3FSG or 2MSG because of the have prefix pronoun. Are you with me? So having these two possibilities, it's most likely a second person. So now this is our first time to deal with the second person that is used in jussive form. Okay, so when we have the third he verb and the third he is missing, then that is the obvious indicator of jussive form. Why we don't know for sure when we need to really analyze the verb as I just said. So when you are having the possibility of just dealing with other the verbs, which is not the third he, and you cannot see the shortening, then you also need to pay attention to the context. Okay? So, but if you are dealing with the third he verb, if you see the third he is missing, then there is a great possibility of having a jussive form. Are you following me? So this is jussive. And then special feature al particle. So the meaning is what? So this one is not, and without al, and you or she will, what is the meaning of kara? Fret, fret. So in the specific form of hit pile has something to do with it, reflexive. So you do something for yourself, okay? So that the idea is there. So when we say fret, then fret yourself. So the meaning together with all is what? Do not fret yourself. Okay. But we are going to talk about the meaning of the word kara. Okay. So then in terms of justice, together with the second person, then I would like to say, let do not let you fret. That sounds really better. Or even other English translation choose let not. Okay. Or other translation will say do not simply. But we have this al and kana again. And this one is used not in the jussive form. Okay. So in order for us to see the difference between them, okay, they are all coming together with then I want to intentionally put the word do not let you fret yourself. Okay. And then this is a preposition be together with definite article he. So this one is actually la resh ain ain. And what is the reason for us to have mem in the beginning and then im ending? So understanding this, oh, we have four cases that can come together with mem. What are they? Piel, Pua, Hifil, and Hofa. So in this case, actually, la is Hifil, and then plural, masculine plural, and in participle form. But you need to pay attention to the specific vowel point under the mem, because in order for this one to be Hifil participle, actually this vowel point under the mem is supposed to be what? Pata. Do you remember? But this one is resh, ein, ein. So we have not dealt with any specific case like this for first resh and germinate word. So that's why it affects somehow the vowel pointing. So when you are dealing with a new, a rule that is not really following our lessons, our knowledge, then don't panic and then be flexible. Okay, yeah, I think this is because of this. All right. So it doesn't really follow strictly the general pattern. So you cannot really find that specific, uh, what is it, the vowel pointing for la. And in terms of the uniqueness of germinative verbs, it has its own unique pattern. So which means compared to other, weak verb, germinative has a variety of, what is the patterns. So when you are dealing with the germinative, don't don't make yourself put under a lot of stress. Oh, why is that? Then just be flexible and understand. Okay, I welcome you as you are. I don't see any problem. That's it. Okay, and so this is participle form, and then la in the Hebrew stem means what? Be evil or do evil, something like this. So it should refer to the plural people doing this. So those who are evil or those who are doing evil, that will be acceptable. And this one, kana. So we have kana. And why is that we have dagesh in the middle? Why is that? This is PL stand. So actually, this is kana and PL stand. And either 3 FSG or 2 MSG, but it's most likely 2 MSG. And then negative particle R. So you will not. What is the meaning of kana? Envy or be jealous. So that is the simple meaning of kana. So you will not envy or be jealous. Be about. And another participle form is here. So this is asa, which is double weak verb. So it has a first ein and then the third he. So you cannot really see the identical, what is it, the clues or, but anyway, you can still see the whole name above the first letter. And then tere yod. So you can see that, okay, when we have the specific tere yod ending, the third he is gone and we have whole name. So you can still identify it as participle form. So this is asa, kal, and then participle, masculine, plural. Okay. And special feature should be be. So what is the meaning? Those who are doing this. So avella means injustice and what is not right. Okay, so my translation would be, the simple translation would be, okay, do not let you fret yourself about those who are evil. You will not envy those who are doing what is not right. Okay? That is my return translation. Okay, but this part is quite important. So now I was talking about the uses of kara. And you need to understand, first person is quotative, second person is normally imperative, third person is normally jussive. But look at this. Even for second person, it can be coming together with jussive, together with al. And this one is al, and this one is al. Actually, I got this information from Walt and O'Connor. So when you have al plus jussive, it can be even used for second person as a negative commandment. Are you following me? Okay. So this is the case, and the reason why we have I in this jussive form for the second person. Okay. And then what is the meaning of kara? Kara means hit oneself in vexation. Okay. And it's English. So I may ask this question later to Pierce. So Pierce, just pay attention to the difference of those meaning, please, in terms of English. And holiday, say, fly into a passion. Okay. It's trying to understand the meaning of kara, and BDB put hit oneself in vexation, and holiday put it like fly into passion. And Harris gives us a little further information. Said the hippopotamus stem occurs 4 times, always meaning fret not yourself. So Psalm 37 and Proverb 24:19. The reflexive thought is do not kindle yourself in respect to the wicked. So now I want to ask you, Pierce, this question. What is the difference between these two, between BDB and holiday? So what is the specific meaning of hit oneself in vexation, especially vexation?
Oh, vex is a word which basically means annoy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say I'm vexed, it means you're kind of stressed, you're annoyed. So that's what vex is. So vexation is, I guess that's the noun version of that word.
All right. I think that's enough. So hit yourself is you are angry, but somehow it's something is annoying you, and you are angry, right?
Yeah.
And then what about fly into a passion?
Well, it's kind of the opposite. Passion is something good, something positive, but you can also, it can have connotations of being negative. You normally see it in a positive meaning, but it can sometimes have a negative meaning. Not often though. So that's a kind of slightly strange one there from Holiday.
Okay, all right. So the idea is what? You can say that do not fret yourself. What is it? Is it kind of, does it sound like complaining?
Which one, Harris or Holiday?
Yeah, just including these two. If you apply the general, concept of those words.
General meaning, yeah, don't work yourself up. Don't stress about it. Don't worry.
Okay, but it has something to do with the emotion, status that you are somehow angry.
Yeah, somehow angry, and
yeah, right.
If you follow that course of action, you're somehow it's somehow going to have an adverse effect on you. It's not going to be healthy for you.
Okay, yeah. So we can see that the concept is somehow angry. You are angry. All right. So you sound like you're complaining about, hey, look at them, they're evildoers. But say, do not hit yourself in vexation. That's it. And let me move on. Okay, what about then the word kana? BDB means be envious of, and Harris This verb expresses a very strong emotion, whereby some quality or possession of the object is desired by the subject. This root occurs 87 times. Accordingly, our root is often translated envy. So Edom's deep jealousy of Israel's favor before God accompanied anger and hatred. So this root does not express superficial emotion, which means it's quite light and nothing. No, but should be deep emotion. Okay? God says the righteous are not too long, deeply after apparent prosperity of the wicked. So when we are talking about the meaning of Hannah, then you need to see, okay, what is a third, what was third subtle idea? Okay, instead of simply saying, okay, be jealous or envy, you can just get this idea. But can you go a little deeper to better understand? Okay, and the most important idea is provided by Harris. It carries what? Some quality of or possession, and then it has something to do with deep emotional status. It's not simply envy or be jealous, but deeply envy. Okay, this is what you need to really try to see. So what I'm trying to teach you this time as a new aspect is the meaning of the verbs and the nouns. Okay, so do not simply rely on whatever is provided by the Bible works as a simple meaning. You need to go deeper by doing the comparison study, utilizing different materials like BDB, Harris, and Hollidays. Okay, so then you will see the 13 nuance there, and you need to apply those concepts there. All right, let me move on. So this is already explained. What about then the last one, Avella? As I said, BDB, injustice, unrighteousness, or wrong. Harris said it denotes an act or deed that is against what is right. So can you understand? Of course, it has something to do with injustice or right, unrighteousness and wrong. But okay, what do you mean by Avella? Okay, it is an action against what is right. Okay, in general sense. So if I need to put my literal translation, then I want to put this way. Let you not fret yourself about those who are evil. Do not be deeply envy those who do injustice or what is not right. Okay, so probably you can find this as similar as other English translation, but you will see that this is even tiny difference will make big difference in terms of exegesis. Okay, so that is it. And let me move on to verse 2 quickly. So it says, okay, let you not fret yourself and do not be deeply envy. Why? Because verse 2, it starts from key. So the reason is provided here for verse 1. So because, and where can you see? Ke is preposition, so which means like, right? And then what about kazir? Kazir means what? Can you help me? Green, grass. So you can say it's a grass. Grass. Okay. So like grass. What does it mean? Mechera. Mechera means quickly. It has something to do with the idea of speed. Quickly, soon, fast, speedy. Okay. So this is the real verb. And you can see that, oh, what is this? We have prefix pronoun in the beginning and complement at the end. And why is that? I have only two. And what about this dagesh here? If you go to Germinative verb for malal, mem, resh, lamed, lamed, and you will see that this is another indicator of germinative form. Okay, so this is malal, which means wither, languish, or fade. And it can be even used in the sense of circumcise, be cut off. In the heat pollen, okay, but not in the cast-stem. But this one is malal, cast-stem, and prefix form 3MPL, non-special future, and meaning is what? And they, not and, they will wither. So KJV interestingly put the translation like this: for they shall soon be cut down like the grass. But in fact, let us just think about this. This is important question. How come is that we can get the meaning of cut down here? KJV, I like you, because KJV, Kim Jun version, sounds like Kim Jun version. But anyway, I like you because you have a really good translation, which is quite similar to Richard translation. But what is the reason why we have this idea of cut down? Because of this word, circumcised or be cut off. But this one is normally used in the hit pollel. But now, malal is not used in the hit pollel. That is what I want to say. Then you cannot really apply the idea that it should be cut down. So it's so much hard for us to see the concept. So instead of we are say cutting down, we need to use the concept of withering or fading or language. Because you can say, oh, Pastor, what is the big deal here? I can sense that the grass will somehow die. Okay, whether it is withering or whether it is cutting down, they will die. That's the idea. No, you cannot say that. You need to go deeper. And what is the meaning? Okay, like the grass, it will wither or fade away. That is the idea, but not in the sense of being cut down. Okay, then you will understand why this question is so much important here, especially in these words. Let me move on. How can you get all those information, by the way? It's easy. Go and check the materials like BDB and Harris and Holiday. You will know. There is another important verb here, and this one is nabal. That's why we have dagesh as assimilation here. This is first noon verb of nabal. And we have an ending, noon ending, which is quite strange. And then actually this is not our first time. It is called pedagogic noon. Okay. And scholars are still debating to know the specific meaning and usage of noon, but most people say it has something to do with the sound and the what is it, recite of this specific passage. So it's not really, it doesn't affect the meaning at all. Sometimes you will see this addition, so don't panic. And unfortunately, it quite often affects the vowel system. So you need to be flexible when you have pedagogic noon. Okay, sometimes the vowel point will not follow the rule. But anyway, we have all necessary information here. So this is nabal and prefix form and cast-stem 3MPL, meaning you can say pedagogic noon as a special feature. Meaning is what? This one also means wither. Okay, this is my question. We have two main verbs. The first one is what? Malal. And the second one is nabal. And those verbs all mean withering. Okay, then I have a question here. Why is that we have two different verbs? If we need to apply the same idea of withering, what is the reason why we have two different verbs, meaning almost the same. And you need to always ask this question. There must be a specific reason for the author to use two different verbs. If this is the same word, then, same meaning, then why is that he needs to really use two different verbs? So, of course, these two verbs are related to the concept of being withering. But you need to see the third difference between them. That's why I'm encouraging you to go deeper in terms of word study. Do not simply rely on the given meaning. Okay, you just place your cursor on the word and the Bible works will show you the meaning. But you need to go deeper. Okay, that is another thing that you need to start doing. Are you following me? Then what is the difference? So BDB means sink or drop down, anguish, wither, and fall and fade. Now, you can see that, okay, this one has something to do with the idea of withering, but at the same time, another idea of sinking or dropping down are there. Can you see it? According to BDB. And Holiday also said wither and fall. So Harris, the image of withered leaves about to fall given by this verb or other dried up vegetation often serves as a figure of judgment. So what can you see here? What is the difference between these two main verbs? The first verb has something to do with just withering. It gives us the idea of withering, but the second one gives us a bit more detailed nuance. Okay, it's becoming withered, but it gives us the idea that it falls. After withering, it falls, it drops. Do you understand what it means? And another question that we need to ask, Hazir means grass. Okay, grass. And we have another interesting one, Yerek. Yerek means also grass. But two different words. Are you following me? So actually, no, Yerek means green, and then Deshe means grass. Okay, so green grass. Are you following me? Then the question is, it sounds like a great reputation, but there must be a special meaning. So in terms of the meaning of Deresh, you can see that this one is young, new grass, and green herb and vegetation. Now, if Khazir simply means grass, this Deshe means grass, but it comes with another nuance of young and new or tender. Are you following me? So when we are talking about Khazir, then it's simply just the grass. But this Deshe gives the idea that it's just a sprout, okay? And then it's young and it's tender. That is the concept that we can find from this word. Okay? Then what is the literal translation? Let's look at it. NIV said, "For like the grass, they will soon wither. Like green plants, they will soon die away." So in fact, we cannot really see the difference between the two types of grass here. It says just grass and then green plants. Piers, in terms of English, can you tell me the difference between grass and plants?
Yeah, grass is just what grows everywhere, and plant is like something bigger that grows.
Okay, so it gives us the idea that probably, according to NIV, it applies the idea that grass means it's kind of a small veggie, around the wall, and nobody takes care of it. But green plants is a bit more, it's kind of bigger one. Okay.
Yes.
So then it makes better sense that it has leaves, and then it wither and it fall. In the sense, it makes better sense. Okay. KJV, "For they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as a green herb." So one more time, I don't like the idea of cutting down here. It doesn't really carry the meaning of the verb as it is. So my literal translation is like this. For like the grass, they will quickly wither, and like the greenness of young, new, tender grass or herb, they will wither and fall. Now, if you read the literal translation that I made, can you see a little difference there? So, especially the second phrase means a lot to me. If the first one gives us the idea that, okay, look at them, just don't envy them. Their prosperous life will quickly die and fade away. General idea. And but this one, it deals with the whole purpose of what is it? The growth of plants and grass. It starts with the young and new leaves, and it grows, and then it will fall. So that's why somehow the first phrase has something to do with quickly. So it intentionally highlight the fact that, okay, the green, the what is it? The grass will wither quickly. That is the same idea. So it focuses on the idea that it will wither, but quickly. Quickly is the idea of the first phrase. And then the second phrase deals with the process of the growth of this grass or plants, starting from this young and new and tender grass, and but it will grow and quickly also wither, and the leaves will fall down. So in the certain imagination, you can see that the second phrase deals with a little bit different idea. Okay, so that's what I can see. But let me tell you this, as a teacher, this I don't want to say this one is the most interpretation you have, because this is my own interpretation, paying attention to all the different nuances of the words. Okay, but my point is, why is that we have two verbs meaning almost the same and two nouns having the same meaning, but they are different words? Then you need to start paying attention to those things to 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 extract something meaningful. There must be a specific reason for the author to use those different terminologies. Okay, very simple and minor change, it looks like. But in terms of exegesis or Hebrew language study, I think you need to really pay attention to this. So that is the things that you need to start looking at. All right. But when we are talking about the previous chapter, Genesis chapter 22, we didn't really pay attention to the use of words. Okay, we simply depended on the meaning, the given meaning. But when you are doing your own research, you need to make sure that you check all the meanings of each word, okay, in the given materials in the Bible works. Now, what can you say here? Let's go back, verse 1. Let you not fret yourself about those who are evil. Do not be deeply envy those who do what is not right, because like the grass, they will quickly wither, and like the greenness of young and new or tender grass, they will wither and fall. Now, can you see a little difference in terms of literal translation? So I hope you can start looking at those important change. Okay, that is the meaning of doing all those studies. Okay, so hopefully for your next assignment, I will be able to enjoy the uh, variety of your interpretation instead of following the simple meaning of the word. And I will appreciate if I can find something new there, then I will pray to you for that. Okay. That is the seriousness that you need to have for this study. Okay. All right. Are you excited about this Hebrew language? I know that some of you are still sleepy, tired, but don't forget the reason why you are here. All right, let's move on. Verse 3. I'm going to ask you to do this. Okay. Show me your ability and what you have understood. Hanae, let's do this. Verse 3. Just read it and then analyze the verb.
바닥 바도나이 바세 톱 쉐칸 에레츠 브레에 에무나. The verb, the first one, batak.
Okay. Analyze it.
Kal, imperative to MSG, special feature none, and meaning trust. And the next one, asa.
Go ahead. Doing good.
Kal, infinitive construct, then PG and none, then special feature verb conjunction and tov, the meaning to make or do good. Then the next one, shakan, kal imperative to MSG, special feature eretz, then the meaning dwell in the land. Then Ra'a, kal imperative to MSG, verb conjunction, meaning and pastor. Those are the verbs in the sentence. Then my translation is trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and pastor faithfulness.
What is the second part from dwell?
Dwell in the land and
Okay.
pastor faithfulness.
So according to your analysis of the verb asa, what is the form? Asa, the second verb that you analyze, the form?
Oh. Oh.
Did you say infinitive construct?
Yeah, but
Now you begin to realize that this is not infinitive construct.
imperative.
All right, good job. So we have four verbs. Good job, Kanae. Thank you. We have four verbs, and then they are all used in imperative form. But if you read, all right, wait a minute. English translation, it's quite interesting. Let me show you this. NIV, trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. YLT, trust in Jehovah and do good, dwell in the land and enjoy faithfulness. RSV, trust in the Lord and do good, so you will dwell in the land and enjoy security. KJV, trust in the Lord and do good, so shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. So you can see that NIV, YLT, they are putting those four verbs as independent commandments, while RSV and KJV put the last two commandments as a consequence of the former commandment. Can you see that? But my question is it really common to see? Of course, sometimes if you have two commandments standing side by side, sometimes and occasionally, the first one is a commandment, and second commandment is a consequence of the first commandment. It happens, but it's not really common. There is a possibility that we can translate this one like this, but according to the context, I don't know if it is really right for us to put it as a cause and consequence, the result. So probably without having a concrete clue, then we better stay with, four independent commandments. But I don't want to say there is, no possibility of putting the cause and results relationship here. Okay? But without any concrete clue, then you better stay with, those independent commandments. So that is it. This passage is quite hard to interpret, isn't it? When you are doing your assignment, did you find it hard? And what is the what is the hardest part to analyze or interpret? Would you like to share? Chikara, what was the hardest part here in terms of translation? Let me go back and show you the part again. It's at verse 3, sorry, yeah. Okay.
The hardest part.
Well, everything was easy for you?
No.
Then what was the challenge here? How did you translate the last part, the two words?
Two words. The last part I translated, and cultivate cultivate
steadfastness. Yeah. Cultivate. How did you get it? What is the original meaning of the word It has something to do with what is it? Tendering, pasturing. Okay, so normally it's very it's kind of a technical term for shepherding.
Yeah.
So tendering or pasturing. And what about emunna? Emunna means, as you said, steadfastness
or like firmness.
Then this is really hard to interpret, isn't it? What does it mean? Tender, the steadfastness. What is the idea? How do you think, Samson?
For that one, I put down and tend to fidelity. So my idea behind it was tend to your faithfulness to God, or tend to your faithfulness to that person.
So what okay, I like your idea. Can you just further elaborate it in a much simplified translation? So what is the best translation you've got?
The translation that
We cannot hear you, Samson.
oh, sorry. So I put down trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and tend to fidelity. And I had to Google tend and Google fidelity just to kind of see if I'm kind of close to the other interpretations. And fidelity came out to being faithfulness to a person. And I know tend, when we talk about the word tend, it's more when you're taking care of a flock or cultivation. So the idea behind me choosing the tend to fidelity was you have to cultivate or take care of your faithfulness to God.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Yeah, you did a good job. You're becoming Hebrew scholar. I like it. What about others? Any different opinion or choice? Phineas, what did you do for the part?
I just translated as that parts are tend faithfulness, but I really didn't get the clear understanding the sense tend faithfulness or pasture faithfulness, and so yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. That's why I'm asking you this question. It's not easy, but you're doing a good job. And what about this great Hebrew scholar, Amos?
Hello, Professor. I'm still opening my file.
Take your time. Let's move on to another great Hebrew scholar, Stephen Pambu. What is your opinion? I know that you need to still work on it, but what is your opinion, Stephen, after listening to others? I know you're busy taking care of your baby and 2 babies. You need to focus on it. Anyone else you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Piers.
I think it would be a lot easier in the translation. It almost feels like there's a word missing, and that's his. It would make more sense if it says dwell in the land and enjoy his faithfulness, because with words like steadfastness, you can get a bit confused and you think, well, is it my steadfastness or the Lord's? You know, so I think if you put the word his in there, it would make the translation so much easier.
Right,
you know?
right. I think, yeah, you're right. You got an important point. Actually, what do we mean by tendering faithfulness, steadfastness? So his faithfulness has something to do with the idea of steadfastness. So it's encouragement that you dwell in the land. What kind of land? So it is another theological question, but if you read continually the other parts, and you will begin to gradually understand. Okay, so you are living in the world where the idea of unjustness, injustice, and then it's not fair, right? But it's kind of a commandment, encouragement. You stay in the land and enjoy God's faithfulness. So looking at these unfair things taking place, stay in tune or focused on the land where you enjoy God's steadfastness. I think this is the idea, although there might be other interpretation. What about Amos? You do like that?
Yes, Professor. I just wrote, trust in the Lord and do good things, dwell in the land and graze the faithfulness. I mean,
What
just
is that? Gray?
Graze, graze.
Okay. So you apply the idea that we eat God's faithfulness, okay? And we take this God's faithfulness into us. And this is the idea, all right? So it's amazing, isn't it? I think this one carries a deep theological meaning. How can we enjoy, all right? And then delight in this is the what is that the important part, delight yourself in the Lord. So that's why this is a quite significant idea, right? Let me see. So here, right? So verse 4 is dealing with the concept. That's why we can say, and another hit, anak. What does it mean? Anak. The hit pile, so should be reflexive meaning. So when you say, okay, enjoy, then you need to enjoy yourself. Okay, delight yourself. So you have such a joy, okay, coming to you. All right, this joy is coming to you. But what is the reason behind? In the Lord, upon the Lord. So I love this passage when we are complaining about the world where these evildoers are, doing well. I don't know. Probably it has a lot to do with the Myanmar context too. These military dictatorships, they are using this power and suppress the civilian. It's a political issue though. But we may say, Lord, look at them. I'm just, angry. But in the situation, how can he take the delight? It's not because of what we receive from the Lord, but not because of what is going on personally in my life, but because of the Lord, we can delight ourselves. And I want to say, somebody say amen. We can still rejoice ourselves in the Lord. That is the thing. And if we really rejoice in the Lord, and something will happen. And it's not just about the inner confirmation that you have. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just to say it is well, like BBD babidi boop, these magic words and everything will be okay. No, you just enjoy your life first. We can do that even during this stormy life, and then God will do something to you. And God is saying that the life of those evil dwellers are like the life of grass. It will quickly wither and what? They will wither and fall and die away. So let us just trust in the Lord and delight ourselves in the Lord. This is the last conclusion of our lesson. To be honest, actually, it's good. It would be good for me to deal with many passages, but I tend to spend a lot of time dealing with a one or two passages. Why? Because I can just grade your assignment, but I'm really trying to teach you how to engage with those materials. Do you understand? And go deeper and deeper. And you need to be serious enough in dealing with all those resources. And that is the first step of becoming Hebrew scholar. I know you are already Hebrew scholars, and I personally enjoyed grading your assignment, but although they are not perfect, but I really enjoy the fact that you are becoming more serious. So on Tuesday, please submit your assignment. For the last part, I want to say, since you have weekends, you need to analyze all the verses from 11 through 25. So you've got 15 verses this time. All right. So just do it, and then it is due next Tuesday. And when you are doing interpreting the verse, do not simply rely on the simple meaning, but go deeper. If you think this is quite obvious, then just okay. But if you find it quite interesting to go deeper in searching the another various meaning, then I want to encourage you to do it. Okay. Do you have any question? No? Okay, so Hebrew scholars, I love you and see you next week.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
Thank you, sir. God bless
Thank
you.
you, sir.